Yo, what's going on guys, Tanmay here for Simple Snippets and welcome back to another video tutorial on data structures and algorithms. And as the title of the video suggests, today we are going to take a postfix expression and convert it to a prefix expression, and also the vice versa, that is taking a prefix expression and converting it to postfix format without using a stacked data structure, which means we are going to do this manually. So take your pen and paper, pencil and paper, because we are going to solve three examples each. So 3 examples of postfix to prefix and 3 examples of prefix to postfix. Now before we start off, I'm assuming you guys already know what is infix, prefix and postfix, these 3 different expressions and why do we need them. And we've discussed a lot about these expressions in previous tutorials. We've seen the conversion of infix to postfix and vice versa. We've seen the conversion of infix to prefix and vice versa. However, this one topic of directly converting a postfix expression to prefix and vice versa was left out in the manual conversion as well as the stack conversion, which we will see in the next tutorial. This tutorial just deals with the manual conversion of postfix to prefix and prefix to postfix, and we're going to see the rules and also solve 3 examples as I mentioned. So with that being said, let's get started. If you're new to my channel, my name is Tanmay Sakpal and I do a lot of computer science and information technology video tutorials like computer programming, development, technology talks and a lot more on this channel. So if that's something you're interested into, then definitely subscribe and turn on the notifications to get the latest updates and never miss out on such important topics. Okay, so let's start off with first converting a postfix expression to its appropriate prefix format. Okay, so we have a question over here. We have to convert this postfix expression to its prefix format, and let's go through the rules which are required to convert postfix to prefix. Okay, so rule number 1 says we have to scan the postfix expression from left to right. So starting from the left character to the right in this direction, you can see. We can also go from right to left, but then the rules will change. So we'll stick to left to right process. So this is rule number 1. Rule number 2 says select first instance of 2 operands followed by 1 operator. So I hope you know what is operands and operator. Operands is nothing but variables, constants and sub expressions collectively. An operator, as the name suggests, is plus, minus, divide by, multiplication sign, raise to sign. So we are dealing with these 5 operators only. So operator is something that is a symbol which performs some operation on these operands, and these operands are basically variables, constants, and then sub expressions can also be considered as operands. Okay. Now one good thing about postfix and prefix format is we do not have any kind of operator precedence, we do not have associativity, we do not have brackets, and we've discussed why we don't have that in previous tutorials as well when we individually looked at each of them. So do watch that. But that's why things get very simplified and that's why we have very less rules and the conversion is also very easy. Okay. So moving on to the third rule, once we find the first instance of 2 operands followed by 1 operator, we convert it to its prefix format. So let's say we have AB plus. Okay, let me write it in pink because that's what postfix color is. So let's say we have AB plus. So this is postfix version. Okay, and now we have to convert it to prefix version. So according to rule number 2, select the first instance of 2 operands. So A and B can be 2 operands, and then it is followed by 1 operator, which is the plus sign, right? So in that case, what we have to do, we have to convert it to prefix format. So this is postfix. Postfix has operator and it has 2 operands before it. So this is how postfix format looks. How does prefix format look? In prefix, this operator is basically coming at the left hand side of these 2 operands, coming at the start of these operands. So now in prefix version, it would be AB, but the operator will come over here. So this basically is the prefix format for this corresponding postfix expression. Okay, so this postfix expression will look like this in prefix format. So this is what we have to do. We have to convert it into prefix format. Then moving on, rule number 4 says substitute this sub prefix expression that we just got by a temporary operand. So plus AB we have to consider as x1 or any other temporary variable value. Okay, you can give x1, a, b, x, y, z, whatever you want. Just name it something different than the existing variables. So we have a and b over here, so we'll name it as x1, x2, x3. You can also do y1, z1, whatever you want. Then after step number 4, step number 5 is repeat this process until the entire postfix expression is converted to its prefix format. Now obviously this was a very small example where we only had 2 operands and 1 operator. The postfix expression usually will be larger than this, right? So in this example also you can see we have 3 operands over here, A, B and C, and 2 operators. So this entire process has to happen multiple times so that we get the appropriate prefix format from this postfix expression. So now that you've gone through these rules, probably you can note them down or take a screenshot. I'm obviously going to be sharing all these rules, the code as well in future that we see in the further video tutorials with you guys on our official website. So you don't have to worry about that. But if you're making notes, you can note these rules down. But now let's actually solve the very first example using these rules. Okay, so we've been given a postfix expression AB minus C plus. We have to convert it to its prefix format. Rule number 1 says scan the entire expression from left to right. Rule number 2 says select the first instance of 2 operands followed by 1 operator. So when we scan this from left to right, we say operand number 1, we say operand number 2, and now it is followed by 1 operator. So this is minus operator, right? So we've got our first set of pattern which has 2 operands and 1 operator. So what we have to do, we have to convert this to its prefix format. So the next step to this is going to be, we have to take this minus and put it before A and B. So once we do that, minus AB, this is going to be the proper prefix format, and remaining thing we'll keep as it is, that is AB minus is converted to prefix. What is left? CN plus. So we'll write CN plus as it is. Okay. Alright. So step number 3 is done. Step number 4 says substitute this sub prefix expression that we just converted by a temporary operand or a variable basically. So now what we'll say let x1 equals to this minus AB. Okay. So when we substitute x1 in the place of minus AB, the expression would look like x1. So the next step would look something like this. We will have x1, C and plus. Okay. So step number 4 is done. Now step number 5 says repeat this process until the entire postfix expression is converted to prefix expression. Now if you observe, obviously we still have Cn plus which is left to be converted to its prefix format. So again we will start with step number 1. We will scan from left to right. We will see the first instance of 2 operands followed by operator. Now if you see again, we have x1 and C. So this is operand 1 and operand 2 because now x1 is one complex operand of minus AB. So minus AB collectively is considered as one variable or one operand now. So this is operand number 1, this is operand number 2, and after this we have plus which is a operator. So we again got the pattern of 2 operands 1 and 2 followed by an operator. So we have to convert this to its appropriate prefix format. So we have to take this plus sign and add it at the beginning. So next step would look something like this. We will take the operator plus, then we have x1 and then we have C. So this, my friends, is basically our final answer because after this we have pretty much converted everything to its prefix format. But the last thing that we have to do is we have to resubstitute x1's value because x1 is a temporary variable or a temporary operand. What is the actual value? x1 is minus AB. So let's substitute minus AB at the place of x1. So this will give us, the plus will be as it is. What is x1? x1 is minus AB and then we have C. And this, my friends, is the final answer and it is the prefix format for this postfix expression. Okay, so this was question number 1. This was fairly easy and we went a little slow. Let's take another example and let's try to go a little faster because now that we've got a hang of all these rules, let's apply them in a faster way. Okay, so this is question number 2. Convert the following postfix expression to its prefix format. Again, a little lengthy postfix expression. Let's quickly start from going from left to right in this direction. We have to select the first instance of 2 operands followed by 1 operator. So when we go from left to right, you can see this is operand 1, this is operand 2, but after that we have one more operand. So this is not following the pattern of 2 operands and then 1 operator because C is not an operator. So then we move forward. If you see B, C and then star, this follows that pattern of operand 1, operand 2 and then 1 operator, right? So we have to convert this to its prefix format and that would look something like, let me write it down. I will write A as it is because BC star is supposed to be converted to its prefix format. I'll say star BC Again, everything else is going to be as it is, plus DE divide by and minus. So now what we have to do, we have to take star BC and make x1 as star BC. So take a temporary variable. Let me write it a little further. We will say x1 is equal to star BC. Okay. So now the expression will become A x1 plus DE divided by minus. So again we have to go by these rules, scan this postfix expression from left to right and find the first instance where we get 2 operands and 1 operator. So this is the very first instance of that. We have to convert it to its prefix format, so plus will come over here. So in that case we will get plus A x1 and then DE divided by minus stays as it is. Next thing we have to do is we have to take a new temporary variable x2 and assign plus A x1 to it. So now the expression will become x2 DE divided by and minus. So again moving on with the scanning of postfix expression from left to right. Now if you see, x2 is a operand, D is a operand, E is a operand, and after E we have an operator which is divide by. So before that we have E and D. So 2 operands and 1 operator. That's the pattern we are looking for. So we have to convert this DE divide by into its prefix format. So next thing we get is, we'll write x2 as it is. This divide by comes over here before D and E. Then we are gonna write D and E, and then I'll write minus as it is. So since we did not involve x2 in this conversion, I'm gonna write x2 in pink color itself. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to take one more temporary variable x3, which will equate to divide by DE. So now the expression will become x2 x3 and we have minus. So again, one operand, another operand followed by a operator. So again convert this whole thing back to prefix format. Minus comes here, so we will have minus x2 and x3. Okay, so now the conversions are pretty much done. The only thing left is we have to resubstitute all these temporary variable values so that we get the final prefix format. So what is x2? x2 is plus ax1. So I'm gonna write minus as it is. What is x2's value? It is plus ax1. So I'm gonna write plus ax1. What is x3's value? x3's value is divide by D and E. We still have one temporary variable left, that is x1. So x1 is star BC. So let's resubstitute back x1. So everything else stays as it is. So I'm going to say minus plus A. Then we have x1's value. So x1's value is star, that is multiplication basically, BC. Then we have divide by, then we have D, and then we have E. Okay, so this was the final answer of this postfix expression, which is converted to its appropriate prefix format. So I hope you're getting it. Okay, so this was question number 2. Let's move on to question number 3 now. Okay, so this is probably the lengthiest postfix expression, and I took this because this is again a little bit more complex than question number 2. And after this, I'm pretty sure you guys will be able to solve any postfix expression and convert it to prefix format. So let's quickly get started. Just by observing it, let's go a little fast. We have to go from left to right. Scanning this expression immediately, you can see AB plus is in the form of 2 operands followed by 1 operator. So 2 operands followed by 1 operator. So we can directly convert it to its prefix form. So we will say plus AB. Everything else is going to be as it is. So C minus D E F raised to star, that is multiplication. Then we have G and divide by. So plus AB, let's substitute as x1. So I'm going to say x1 equals to plus AB. So just to save space, what I'm going to do, I'm going to substitute it over here itself. Alright. So I'm going to write x1 over here. If you are doing it on a pen and paper, don't do that. I just want to finish it off in this entire space. That's why I don't want to scroll down. But anyways, now again when we scan from left to right, we can see we have x1c minus. So this is again in that proper 2 operands and 1 operator format. So let's take minus over here. We will get minus x1c, and then we have def raised to star g divided by. So let's say x2 equals to minus x1c. So this is converted to its prefix format, right? So after this we will get x2 def raised to star g divided by. Okay. So again, scanning from left to right, we have ef as one operand, second operand, followed by one operator which is raised to. So we have to convert it to its appropriate prefix format. That is this sub expression. Okay. So now we'll get x2 d, then this raised to comes before e and f, right? We will have raised to e f, then the second raised to is as it is star g and divide by. So now let's consider x3 equals to this raised to e and f. So I'm just gonna substitute it over here itself. We will get x3. Okay. So now when you observe this from left to right, the first instance of two operands followed by operator is d as operand 1, x3 as operand 2, and then raised to as one operator. So we have to convert this to its prefix format, and that would lead us to x2, then we have raised to d x3, then star g and divide by is going to be as it is. Let's take x4 and substitute it for raised to d x3. So I'm just gonna rub this and substitute it over here itself. We will get x4. The next thing you observe is from left to right, operand 1, operand 2 and one operator. So take star over here. So we'll get star x2 x4 g divided by. Now x5 can be substituted at the place of star x2 x4. So we'll get x5 over here. And lastly, this is operand 1, operand 2 and one operator. So we get divide by x5 and g. So this is basically the final answer. Now we simply have to resubstitute all the values. I'm just gonna quickly resubstitute them and we'll get the final answer. So let's do it. Okay, so this, my friends, is the final answer of this entire postfix expression, which is converted to the prefix format. So this is the prefix version, and I know it was a little lengthy, but since we've practiced first and second question, I'm pretty sure this is also understandable. And once you solve this, I'm pretty sure you can solve any other complex postfix expression and convert it to its prefix format manually. So this was postfix to prefix. Now let's see the vice versa process, that is prefix to postfix, and it is pretty much going to be the same. And we'll again solve 3 examples. So let's see the rules as well as those examples. Okay, so now we have to take a prefix expression and convert it to its postfix format. So exactly the reverse process. And you can see on the right hand side we have question number 1. So if you read the rules, they're pretty much the same. So let's quickly go through the rules. We have to scan the prefix expression from left to right. So we'll go from left to right in this format or in this order. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2 says select the first instance of one operator followed by 2 operands. Okay. So in postfix to prefix, the instance was 2 operands followed by one operator. But over here we have to look at one operator followed by 2 operands. So this is the format that we are looking for, because now we are scanning a prefix expression, and in prefix the operator comes before the operands, right? So that's the only difference. And then in step number 3 we have to convert it to its postfix format. We have to substitute this postfix expression by one temporary operand, just like we were doing in postfix to prefix. We were converting the postfix sub expression to its prefix format, and then we were substituting that prefix string using an operand. So similarly in this case we have to substitute this sub postfix expression by one temporary operand, and then repeat this process until the entire prefix expression is converted to postfix format. So if these rules are not making sense as of now, let's quickly apply them onto this example. So let's scan this expression from left to right, and what we are looking for is the first instance of one operator, which is this, followed by two operands. So A and B are two operands and this is one operator. So this is the pattern that we're looking for. What we have to do in step number 3, we say convert this to postfix. So this is currently in prefix, we have to convert it to postfix. So how would postfix look like? In postfix we have operands first and then the operator comes, so minus will come over here. So AB minus, this is how postfix would look like. And of course the remaining thing plus and C will be as it is. We only converted this sub part of prefix to postfix. Okay. So this is step number 1. Now we have to substitute this postfix, that is AB minus. So we will say x1 is equal to AB minus. So we have to substitute this postfix expression, this sub postfix expression by one temporary variable or temporary operand. So that is x1. And we have to repeat this process until the entire prefix expression is converted to its postfix format. So now this expression would look like, we'll write plus, this AB minus can be substituted with x1 and of course we have C. So again we have to scan from left to right. This is operator, that is one operator followed by two operands, operand x1 and operand C. So again this is in prefix, we have to convert it in postfix. In postfix the operator is coming at the end. So now the expression will become x1, C and plus. So we've pretty much arrived at our final answer, but now we only have to resubstitute AB minus at x1's place. So that would ultimately give us AB minus and C plus. So this, my friends, is the final postfix version of this prefix expression. So this was pretty much similar to what we did in postfix to prefix, right? So this is prefix to postfix, but it is pretty much similar, and I'm assuming you guys have understood the process, understood the rules and the steps. Let's take question number 2 for better practice. Alright, so we have another prefix expression. Let's convert it to postfix. What we have to do, we have to scan the prefix from left to right. We have to select the first instance where we get one operator followed by two operands. So let's see, we have one operator. Is it followed by two operands? No, because after minus we have one more operator. So after minus we do not have two operands. So we'll move forward. So we'll see, we get one operator. Okay, but is this one operator followed by two operands? No, because we have multiplication over here. So this is not a operand, it is an operator. So this also is not that pattern that we're looking for. But if you observe over here, we have star, which is one operator, and it is followed by B and C, which is operand. So one operator followed by two operands. So this is that pattern. So this is the very first instance of one operator followed by two operands. So we'll convert it to postfix. So this is prefix. The postfix version is B, C and star, because in postfix the operator comes in the end. Everything else is gonna be as it is. So let's write minus plus A. Then we have divide by D and E. So now we will say x1 is equal to BC star. So this whole expression now becomes minus plus A. Then we have x1, that is the temporary variable. We have divide by, we have D, we have E. So again we have to go from left to right. And now if you see, we have plus, which is one operator followed by one operand, and this is also another operand. So now we have to convert this sub expression to its postfix version. In postfix version, plus will be coming after x1. So we will write minus as it is. Then this plus goes after x1, right? So we'll write A x1 plus, and divide by and D will be as it is. So now we'll say x2 is equal to A x1 plus, and now the expression will look like minus x2 divide by D and E. Okay. So now again if you observe, the very first instance of one operator followed by two operands is divide by and DE. So we'll convert divide by and DE to its appropriate postfix format. So that would be, we'll write minus as it is, we'll write x2 as it is, then we have DE and divide by. We'll say x3 equals to DE divide by. So we are left with minus x2 x3. So in the last step, obviously we have to take this minus sign, which is one operator, then we have operand 1 and operand 2. So again converting this to its postfix format, we get x2, x3 and minus. So we've got our final answer. We simply have to resubstitute the temporary variable values. So x2 is ax1 plus x3 is de divided by, and then x1's value is bc star. So I'm gonna write a bc star plus de divided by. I also forgot the minus over here, so minus will come over here as well. And this, my friends, is the final postfix version of the given prefix format or prefix expression. Okay, so this was question number 2. Let's quickly solve one last example of prefix to postfix. This is again a little lengthy complex prefix expression, but once you solve this, I'm pretty sure you will be able to solve any other example. So quickly going from left to right for this prefix string, the very first pattern of one operator followed by two operands is this pattern. So we'll convert it to its postfix format. So everything will be as it is. We'll write divide by star minus, but this will be converted to AB plus. Rest things will be as it is. So C raised to D raised to E F G will be as it is. Now we will say x1 is equal to AB plus, and I'm gonna substitute it over here itself. So I'll write x1 over here because I want to save some space. If you're using pen and paper, don't do that, don't skip that step. But again, we have to scan this also from left to right. The first instance of one operator followed by two operands is minus x1 and c. So I have to convert this whole thing to its postfix format. So everything else is as it is. So divide by star is as it is. Then we have x1 c minus, because minus will come after c in the postfix version. Then everything is as it is, raised to d raised to e f g. Again we will say x2 is equal to x1 c minus. I'm gonna substitute it over here itself. So I'll write x2. Now if you scan this entire expression, the first pattern of one operator followed by two operands is this one. So let's convert this to its postfix format. Everything else is gonna be as it is. So I'm gonna write divide by star. Let's write x2 in yellow only because we are not using it over here. We'll say raised to d, and now raised to ef has to be converted to ef raised to in postfix version, and then we'll write g as it is. So now we'll say x3 is equal to ef raised to. So just substitute x3 over here itself. So now the next pattern of one operator followed by two operands is this one, that is raised to d and x3. So we'll convert it to postfix. Everything else is going to be as it is. So divide by star x2, but then we have d x3 and raised to, because raised to now comes at the end of these two operands, and then we'll write g as it is. Then we'll say x4 equals to d x3 raised to. Substitute that over here itself. So we get x4. This is x2. Now the pattern, the very first instance of the pattern is this. We have one operator followed by two operands. So divide by remains as it is. We get x2 x4 star, and g remains as it is. We'll say x5 is equal to x2 x4 star. So I'll substitute it over here itself. So we'll get x5. So now we have divide by xy and g. So that has to be converted to its appropriate postfix format. So we'll get x5 g divide by. So we've pretty much found our answer, and now we just have to resubstitute all the temporary variables. So x5 becomes x2 x4 star, then g and divide by is as it is. Now I have to substitute x2 and x4's value. What is x2? x2 is x1 c minus. So I'll write x1 c minus. What is x4? x4 is d x3 raised to. Then we have star g and divide by as it is. So lastly we have x1 and x3. What is x1? x1 is ab plus. So I'll write ab plus. Then we have c. Then we have minus. Then we have d. What is x3? x3 is ef raised to, so we have one more raised to after x3, we have star, we have g and divide by. And this, guys, is the final answer of postfix expression for this corresponding prefix format or prefix expression. Okay, so this was the last example of prefix to postfix, and if you solve this, if you understood this, I'm assuming you guys can solve pretty much any other complex expression and make the conversion properly. Okay, so I'm gonna conclude this video over here. We solved three examples each of postfix to prefix and prefix to postfix respectively without using stack. This was a manual conversion. In the next few tutorials, we'll see how we can do these conversions using stack data structure as well. So if you like this video, please give this video a thumbs up. Definitely let me know in the comments how this video was. Do share this video with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.